So in the last chapter of Misty runs and runs and runs, and then I suppose I should have an epilogue. Um, I don't know, like the better part of 2 months had gone by, and I hadn't been just letting Misty run headlong into stuff, but this will come to light throughout this video. So the hotels were closed on Sunday. Dad worked full-time, day shifts, but he was quite the entrepreneur. He did a lot of business in the hotels. Well, I should say the hotel, not hotels plural. But anyways, whatever. Sunday, the hotels are closed. On Sunday evening, he was usually around the place, having had Sunday to travel around and do his business, his entrepreneurial stuff. So I know it's been killing Dad to know what I've been doing with Misty. I'm quite certain he would have found her in the barn. He would have noticed her not out free-ranging with the other horses in the herd. So on Sunday night, as dinner's wrapping up, I said, well, Dad, would you like to see, where I am with Misty? Now, I know it's just been killing him all week, probably the last 2 weeks. He plays it cool while Mother hides her mirth behind her teacup. I said, well, I have Misty stabled in the barn. If you want to go out behind the barn rubble, our bank barn had burnt down more than a decade earlier. There was some old equipment and vehicles lying around back there. I said, if you want to go out there, by the time you're there, I'll come out with Misty saddled up. So he plays it all cool. Well, okay, I guess I could take a few minutes there, boy. I'm sure you can, Pa. So Dad's there leaned up against an old farm roller, like you'd roll a field or something before planting. And so I put Misty through her paces at a walk. Now, she's come along quite well. She can back up and turn. I can leave her reins ground tied, walk away. I mean, again, I haven't been just letting her crash into stuff. Dad nods. This is as close as he's going to get to say, good work there, son, with that business. I said, okay, now watch. So it's a big field, our biggest field on the farm. And holding my hands high with the reins so Dad can see I'm not steering the little mare, I give her a heel into her run, and she begins to pinball around the field like crazy. I gave her a little too much. I wanted her to run and run, let Dad really see what she does, right? We almost got tangled with the fence into the hayfield at one point, and then we're up in the opposite corner of the field. Dad had some notion he plowed a big area. He was going to plant cucumbers or something. Never did, just left it plowed, so it's all rough. There's a rock fence line there, and the ginormous old elm trees have all died of the Dutch elm disease and fallen down. I unfortunately got tangled up in there with Misty. That was pretty rough. We managed to come out of there unscathed, battled our way back across the field towards where Dad's leaned up against the roller. Now this has been 10 minutes, right? The little mare has exhausted herself, and as I'm fighting my way up, fighting her on our way up towards Dad, he stands up, he's going, boy, step down, boy. She's going to come off her feet. Boy, I'm telling you. I just nodded. Well, sure enough, the little mare, with a bit of assistance, did come off her feet. And I just stepped out of the saddle and put my foot behind her, her cheek, on her neck. She lays there panting. And through as much dumb luck as good horsemanship, I'd managed to do this about 20 feet away from Dad when Misty flopped over. He walks over. By Jehoshaphat, isn't what he said. You've done that before, referring to my dismounting and just holding her there. I said, oh yeah. Yeah. By Jehoshaphat is again not what he said. How many times have you done that? I said, well, I've lost count. I really don't know. Again, by Jehoshaphat was not what he said. So the little mare's lying there blowing out. And I said, well, now I'm going to let her up and I'm going to leap right onto her back. Check out what happens. Now, in this 10-minute battle, I'd really let the mare really wear herself down. So as soon as she got up on her feet, I leapt back up onto the saddle. And she tore off, did a couple of zeeks, and fell over all on her own. Again, a little light assistance. Down she goes, plunk. Foot on the neck again. Father strolls over, and again, by Jehoshaphat, was not what he said. He's like, well, how long would she do that? I said, well, I can let her back up again. Probably she's got 2 or 3 more in her, and the same thing will happen. And then, like the 4th time or the 5th time or whatever it is, she's going to get up, I'm going to climb on her back, and she's just going to fall right over because she'll be that exhausted. Dad said, a whole lot of by Jehoshaphat's. And I said, well, do I really have to show you that, or is this good enough? He's like, well, by Jehoshaphat, I guess that's good enough. I can't believe it. So I let the mare up, and I said, well, I'll just meet you back up at the barn then. There's no point, and I'd just as soon not go through this anymore anyways, right? Oh, by Jehoshaphat. Now, meanwhile, Lori has snuck out into the barn rubble and has been watching this, and I kind of, go get some water ready to cool the mare off. She's busted. Okay. So Dad goes up to the gas barrel, and the house yard served as our hitching rail. Lori was there ready with some cold and some tepid water, a couple of burlap sacks, and a curry comb brush. So, she sets about tending Misty. Well, Dad and I are leaned up against the gas barrel. He's going, well, what a shame. What a shame. She's such a lovely little mare. Father was just enamored with. She was a beautiful, beautiful little pony. Such a shame, such a shame. I said, well, what's Mike going to do? Because he's not going to, send her to auction and sell her unscrupled. He'd gotten suckered when he bought her, and I still don't know where he'd bought her from without Dad's. Dad might have been grateful Mike bought her. Dad might have got stuck with her. Anyways, he said, I don't know. I'll have to tell Mike. I guess it's just all hopeless. I know, by Jehoshaphat, I've never seen anything. Shame, such a lovely little mare. Lori's currying away, wet burlap bags and whatever, all the business. And he looks at me, he goes, you should buy her. I said, say what? He says, yeah, you should buy Mike out. I said, how do you figure that? What would I do that for? He says, well, I'll pay to stand her to stud. I'm like, what are you on about? Well, we'll put her to stud, not just once, but twice. I'll pay for the stud fees. I pick the stud. The first time we'll get her with another good-sized pony. You'll have a little barrel racing pony. The second time we'll put her to a bigger sire, and you can have a good little barrel racing horse. Lori peeks up from behind Misty. She's kind of looking at me like, what? I'm like, well, so I buy Mike out. You pay for the stud twice. Do I get both colts? Well, we should have one each, don't you think? I said, no, I think both of them should be mine. I'm the one going to have to train them and invest 3-4 years in this. And I got the bulk of the expense. Oh, well, she is a lovely little mare, Pa. Oh, you're driving a hard bargain. I said, well, I don't pay any room or board. I'm not paying board on these 2 colts either, right? Oh, well, I never said anything. Well, I guess we have. How about vet bills, Dad? If there were any vet bills, why would there be any vet bills? Lori's speaking out from behind. She's trying to, has a little hiding, giggling. So I string Dad right out on this, right? I've got him talked into, he's going to pay for everything. All right, do we have a deal then, boy? I said, no. What do you think, I'm crazy? It'd be crazy as the fool horse is. I don't want any part of it. Oh, you don't? I said, no. What I'm going to invest? How much money has Mike got in this little mare and the show quality gear? For what? I'm taking a gamble that whatever genetic recession she has is going to get passed on. He's like, what are you genetic? What are you talking about? I said, well, I got it figured, Pa. She's got a genetic recession gene from a zebra. Every time I leap on her back, she thinks I'm a lion and she's out on the savannah. This is the only thing I can figure. She doesn't go blind, you know. She just, I think she has a genetic zebra gene. You can't teach a zebra, even if you cross one with a horse, they're untrainable. The old man's like, harumph, harumph. Stringing me along all, you don't want anything to do with her. No, I don't. I'm not going to invest probably every red cent I've got the next 3-4 years of my life to breed a couple of more drunken squirrels or pinballs or recessive zebras. No. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Lori's down behind Misty. She's just killing herself laughing, right? Dad, oh, such a lovely little mare. I don't know what Mike's gonna do. Long short of it, he gets in the car and takes off. And Lori pokes her head up. She's going, oh, you had him. Well, you had me for a while, too. I thought you were going to go for that cockamamie deal. I said, no, I don't want anything to do with it. It's madness. She said, well, what do you think's going to happen to Misty then? Do you think your dad's going to go buy her? I said, well, if he does, he's not going to admit to it. I don't know. I don't know, Lori. All I know is now my shins can heal, and I don't have to go through this anymore. So I see the videos ran on. That pretty well wraps up the story, but if anybody's been following this long, you're going to wonder what happened to Misty. So I'll put that in, I guess, what would be called an epilogue.